Welcome to Watercolor Workshop Washes Part 2. We're going to start with a wash, a standard wash. You just dip your brush and run it across the page, smoothing the paint and re-dipping as you go. Don't worry about that extra paint as it sits there. And don't forget to dab and rinse your brush between painting. Now we're going to do the same thing again, but this time I'm going to show you what happens when you put extra pigment or water onto your wash. What's going to happen is it takes away the pigment on the page and it's going to pull that off. Now we're going to do a wet wash, and so I'm running the wet brush over the whole page, and now I'm going to run my pigment across the top, and as you can see it bleeds through the water, diffusing as it goes down. There you can see it fully diffused. Again, we're going to use a wet wash, but this time we're going to wash a couple of different colors together. So here I'm going to run a streak of blue and purple and then finally red. And then we're going to just move the paper a little bit around and we'll see that the paint will diffuse again through the water. This type of wash blends both the colors and the pigment throughout the whole image, which creates this very neat rainbow texture effect. That's one of the joys of watercolor. Here you can see there's a little bit of paint dabbing on the bottom, and so I'm going to use a dry brush and I'm just going to touch that paint and it's going to lift right up into the brush. I can rinse it and then I don't have any thick color that doesn't match the rest of my painting. Now we're going to do a variegated wash. So again, I'm going to wet the entire page, running the wet brush and getting water nice and thickly over it. And now I'm going to apply colors. Notice how I don't apply the colors right on top of each other, but instead spread them into each other. This allows for a more gentle blending for that variegated texture that we're looking for. Again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to run the brush over, run through my colors. As I add the purple, you'll see it blends upward. I'm going to blend the green downward so I get many different colors across the variegated wash. This final wash, again, is using a wet wash technique, and this is going to show the granulated wash, and this is one of my favorite. This is how I make my Milky Way starry textures in those nighttime skies that everyone enjoys so much. So I'm running my colors over the paper, and as you can see I've got my colors blended nicely, and then what's going to happen is I'm going to take a spray bottle and I'm going to just spray a little bit of water, and that water is going to make the pigment separate away from the page, and it's going to create all those nice little grainy textures that make the background really interesting. Again, I'm going to do it with yellows and greens and reds. So here we see I'm just washing the colors over the page. This time I'm using a really thick pigment. And now I'm going to let it dry for a second, let it sit, and then I'm going to spray it. And this is going to allow the paint to spread all across the image. And here are all the final images. So there's our wash, and here's what happens when we take that water and add it to the wash. Here's our wash as it runs down. And finally, our variegated and rainbow washes. Thank you, and come again. Bye.